Hello, my fiery friends. Welcome to another awesome and fiery fun stream. I'm your host, the Inferno Man here, and hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you are at. Excuse me. So, we're going to have a small stream for tonight. So, we're going to see if we could try to have a little bit of fun with a deck that I kind of slapped together over the course of the weekend. I wasn't actually anticipating on planning to build this one, but I was like, well, we have already kind of gone through the majority of the actual creature types on Lorwyn, and before we get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I figured, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. Let's just do the whole gamut while we're at it. So, what tribe are we looking at today? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, without further ado, let's just jump into right now and show you exactly what we're going to be working with today. All right, I see some people are already popping in right here from the chat. All right, so Jane Hopper, hello, hi. Jacqueline, hi, and Ghost76361, hello, my fire friends, good evening. How y'all doing tonight? Hopefully having a wonderful night wherever you're at. So, without further ado, join me today in the Brawl format. We're going to be doing another Brawl deck today for a deck that I'm simply calling River's Revenge. So that's going to be the game for today. Hello, hi, my fire friends. Looks like you're all jumping in right now. So again, thanks again for joining us tonight, my fire friends. Again, hopefully having all a wonderful night wherever you're at. So, name of the game, of course, we're going to be doing an arena, a deck that's focused on Sygg Water Wine Wisdom / Sygg Water Brine Shield. Doing good? Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're all doing well. Okay, that's good to know. So, for those of you who haven't seen this before, just again, the couple of breakdown, how we usually do it is, first off, again, we'll cover, of course, the actual deck tech by going over the stats of the deck in just a moment, and then we'll cover every single card in the deck. We'll play as many matches as we can on the budget version of this deck. And if you do like the deck, later on, we'll just play a slightly upgraded version of the deck to get it a little bit more oomph to see how much more stronger it could truly be. So starting with the stats of the deck, long-time viewers don't know how we do it. We got to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So River's Revenge, as you can see, is a Brawl deck that's focused on Azorius colors of white and blue. Average mana curve is about 2.2, and we're looking at a total of 30 creatures in the deck, 21 instants, 2 sorceries, 4 enchantments, 4 artifacts, 9 enchantments, a single planeswalker, 1 battle, and 33 lands. So, this is all going to be focused on Sygg Water Wine Wisdom / Sygg Water Brine Shield. As it says right here, our commander leading the charge is going to be a Merfolk Wizard 2/2 that says he cannot be blocked. Whenever this creature enters or transforms into Sygg Water Wine Wisdom, target creature gains, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or a planeswalker, you can draw a card until end of turn. At the beginning of your first main phase, you can then pay the white to then transform it into Water Brine Shield. On this version of Sygg, he's a Merfolk Rogue that also still cannot be blocked. Whenever this creature transforms into Sygg, Water Brine Shield version, target creature you control will gain protection from each color until your next turn. So this can be a great way to kind of force through damage or protect a certain key creature that you do not want to get blown up. At the beginning of your first main phase, you then pay again blue to transform him back. So back and forth, we can flip Sygg to either give protection or make sure we can just do some card draw. So that's actually a pretty sweet little commander. Doesn't do anything super broken, but it can be a really sweet one as we kind of keep going back and forth. Now, the way he's designed, you can build the deck a couple different ways. So originally, if you want to do the most conventional way, it's mostly just going to be just a Voltron deck of just loading up Sygg here with maybe a bunch of equipment, maybe some auras, and then just do some damage from there. But because we are focused on Lorwyn, what fun would it be if we didn't at least give him some Merfolk support? So that's mostly how I build the deck. Mostly it's going to be focused on Merfolk support with a little bit of oomph and boost with his abilities to support other creatures in the deck. So, starting in the 1-drop slot here, we have Cleric class here. Anytime we gain life, we gain extra life. Level 2 allows us to then put +1/+1 counters every time we gain life. And then level 3, we can then bring back at least 1 creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield and gain life equal to its toughness. So it just helps us, again, just build up some more life for us to support our game plan. Fleeting Fleet here puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control, give it flying, and then prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to it this turn, at least until end of turn. Light of Hope here can either give us some life, destroy an enchantment, or put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Requisition Rate here, Sorcery Speed, you either use it for its spree mechanic to destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, you can do both, you can do all 3, and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. Swords of Plowshare here, just again, spot removal, just exiles a creature. Water Brine Trapper here, Merfolk Scout. So pay 1 and then tap this and tap another untapped creature we control to tap down a target creature and opponent controls. Gets hopefully blockers out of the way, so allows us to do our thing. Annul here is one of our counter spells to counter an artifact or enchantment. We have Combat Research, we have Curiosity, and Curious Obsession. Each one of these cards kind of does a bit of the same thing. Anytime we deal combat damage to a player, we can simply just draw a card. Curiosity technically could actually just help you just draw cards anytime the enchanted creature just deals damage, period. But again, we're not going to be any kind of pinger deck, so we're mostly going to be combat damage. Still pretty good for us. The only downside, of course, with Curious Obsession, this is the only one that's a little bit on the clunky side because you have to attack at least once. If you don't, you have to sacrifice the aura. So keep that in mind if you're going to load up at least one creature with all of these card draw pieces. We have Dispel here to counter an instant spell. Merfolk Windrobber here is a flying Merfolk rogue. We deal combat damage. We can start milling a card out of our opponent's library. Sacrifice a creature later on to draw a card if you need to in a pinch. Mistcloak Harrow here, along with Triton Shorestalker, also going to be unblockable Merfolk for us. So if we can get a little extra pump with them, also along with Sygg, we can just start doing more and more damage to make sure we can always ensure we can just keep putting pressure on our opponents. Slip out the back here, gives us a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and gives us protection by phasing out a creature. So this can, of course, avoid Wraths, even if Wraths are exiling our whole board. So it's a pretty sweet one. We have Wash Away here. Again, we're in blue. We got to throw in this counter spell. Mostly, you're going to try to use this counter spell for 1 point, just to counter usually a commander trying to come in from the side. Dawnblessed Pennant here. So this is one of our few life gain abilities in the deck, but it helps us out here. Dawnblessed Pennant here is a colorless artifact. We're obviously going to choose Merfolk. Anytime a permanent we control of the chosen type enters, we can simply gain 1 life. Going into the 2-drop slot here, we have Encumbered Reedry here, so 2 mana, 5/4. Pretty good stats. However, it has to enter with 3 -1/-1 counters on it. However, anytime this creature becomes tapped, when it has a counter on it, you can remove a -1/-1 counter, so it will get stronger as the game progresses. We're going to throw an Invasion of Gobakon here. It's one of our only battles. When it enters, we get to look at our opponent's hand, exile a non-land card from it, and they can cast the card, but they have to spend 2 more to cast it. So it buys us a little bit of time to make sure maybe if we get a Wrath out of the way, or at least anticipate maybe something to kind of buy us the time we need. If we manage to flip the Invasion into Light Shield Array, then we could sacrifice the enchantment to then give all of our creatures hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. At nothing else, we can start putting +1/+1 counters for each creature that attacked while this is on the field. We have Kabira Takedown here, /Kariba Plateau. It's either a tap land or just use it as spot removal. Razorgrass Ambush also does the same thing. It can either be a spot removal piece or it can be a land. Sheltered by Ghost, one of our strongest auras in the deck, would be enchant us onto a creature, exile a non-land permanent, and then when this gives the enchanted creature +1/+0, lifelink, and ward 2. Man, it just does so much for such an uncommon. Very powerful, by the way. Take up the shield at instant speed, puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature, giving it lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. The Raven Charm here can either be spot removal, dealing damage equal to twice the number of creatures we control to 1 creature. We could use this as enchantment hate, or just use this as graveyard hate. Waterbrine Preacher here. Anytime this creature becomes tapped, just gain 2 life, so it helps us again stabilize. Bayin Veil here can either be a tap land or give creatures an opponent controls -2/-0 until end of turn, so it softens them up enough for hopefully of us to stop a big blow. Brineborn Cutthroat here, Merfolk Pirate, with Flash. Anytime a spell we cast during an opponent's turn happens, we can put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it gets bigger and bigger. Deeproot Pilgrimage here, a very powerful enchantment for our deck. Whenever 1 or more non-token Merfolk we control becomes tapped, start making blue Merfolk creature tokens with hexproof, so this can help us again go wide as the game progresses. Flood Pit's Drowner here has Flash, has Vigilance. I'm actually surprised based on how, freaky this card looks. Why is this not a Merfolk horror card? I mean, just FYI, it's kind of scary. But seriously, Flash and Vigilance, 2/1. It enters, you tap down a creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. And then later on, once this can untap, you can then shuffle that creature and target creature with a stun counter on it back into its owner's library. So this is going to help us just kind of get something out of the way we don't want to deal with at the moment, and just help us again clear the board. Gravelgill Scoundrel. Wow, the words are hard, by the way. Any case, 1/3 Merfolk Rogue with Vigilance. Anytime this creature attacks, we can tap another untapped creature we control, and that makes this creature unblockable until end of turn. Make Disappear for us is one of our few counter spells where we have to then pay the extra cost if you want to then copy it. But otherwise, it's just simply a counter spell unless our opponent pays 2. Mana Leak, counter spell unless our controller pays 3. Merfolk Looter here, a simple little Merfolk that allows us to just tap it to draw a card and then discard a card to loot. River Sneak here, so this creature also can be unblockable. However, another Merfolk we control enters, this creature will get +1/+1 until end of turn, so we can give it a little extra pump along the way. Silvergale Adept here, simple little 2 mana 2/1, either reveal a Merfolk card or pay an extra 3. Either way, when it enters, just draw a card. Silvergale Melter here, so Merfolk Wizard. You have to behold a Merfolk or pay 2 for this card. Either way, once it enters, create a 1/1 white and blue Merfolk creature token. Voldelian Hexcatcher here with Flash gives all of our Merfolk +1/+1. Also, you can then sacrifice a Merfolk to then counter a non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. So it helps us again with tempo play. Wild Rose Medallion / Counterspell. It is a blue counterspell. It's the best one, so we're going to throw it into our deck. Merfolk Trickster here, 2 blue mana for a 2/2 with flash. You can then tap down a creature an opponent controls when it enters, and then makes it lose all abilities. So for some occasions, this can be a great card for us to then lock out maybe like a legendary creature, or maybe like a commander for a turn, just to make sure they can't pop off, and then buys us the time we need. Azorius Charm here can pick one of these things. Either give all of our creatures lifelink until end of turn, we can draw a card, or then put an attacking or blocking creature back on top of its owner's library, so it can get things out of the way for us to make sure we can do our damage. We have Jeep Channel Duelist here, 2 mana 2/2 at the beginning of your end step. Untap target Merfolk you control, and then give all of your Merfolk +1/+1. Deepway Navigator here with flash. Also, when this creature enters, untap each other Merfolk we control. That's actually a pretty powerful ability. Really good. As long as you have attack with 3 or more Merfolk this turn, Merfolk you control will get an extra +1/+0 pump. Dovin's Veto, and Normalize for more counterspell shenanigans. Dovin's Veto is uncounterable, but you can only counter non-creature spells. Normalize can counter any spell as long as the controller pays 3, but however, if the spell does get countered, you can exile it for the rest of the game. Arcade Signet is one of our mana rocks here, so it taps for the colors we need to help us ramp. And then going into the 3-drop slot, we have Make a Stand, giving all of our creatures +1/+0 until end of turn, and Indestructible to protect them from a Wrath. Meander's Guide here, 3 mana, 3/2 Merfolk Scout. When this creature attacks, you may tap another untapped Merfolk you control. If you do, return target creature card with a mana value of 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this can be great for us to recur Merfolk over and over. Tributary Vaulter here with flying. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, give another Merfolk you control +2/+0 until end of turn. Seal from Existence can help us just exile an all-land permanent, and it has Ward 3 for protection. Deeproot Waters, anytime we cast a Merfolk spell, create a Merfolk token with hexproof. Forensic Researcher here, you either can then use this to untap another permanent we control, or collect Evidence 3 to tap a creature we don't control. We actually don't care about tapping down opponents' creatures. This can be great for us for combo plays with certain cards we have on the field. So this goes perfectly well, by the way, with what's the card here? I just saw it right now. Oh, Deeproot Pilgrimage. So with this and the Forensic Researcher, this can help us pretty much go near infinite with our deck. Marrow Regery here is going to be the other key piece to help us again go completely infinite with both of these cards. So the way it works with this card, besides the +1/+1 pump, is anytime we cast a Merfolk spell, we could tap or untap a target permanent. So untap, for example, the Forensic Researcher. We then tap it down with another permanent. With this, of course, that means that the Pilgrimage here then creates another Merfolk for us, and then we just keep going off from there. Excuse me. Okay. Slendy Vision / Slendy Isle here is either a tap land or dig 6 cards deep to get out an instant or sorcery card. Silvergale Peddler here, anytime this card becomes tapped, draw a card and discard a card. Sink into Stupor is either going to bounce back spells and then for a tempo play, or bounce back a non-land permanent, or if nothing else, it's another land. 6 Command here, choose 2, either create a copy of a Merfolk we control. Creatures we control gain lifelink until end of turn. We then can draw a card or tap a target creature and put a stun counter on it. Eclipse Marrow here, a Merfolk Scout. When this enters, dig 4 cards deep to either pull out a Merfolk, Plains, or Islands card and put it into your hand. Patchwork Banner here, when this artifact enters, pick a creature type, which is going to be Merfolk for us, giving all of our Merfolk +1/+1, and of course, it's a mana rock to tap for 1 mana of any color. Going into the 4-drop slot, we have Shore Lurker here. When this creature enters, Surveil 1 to help us kind of fix our next draw. Wanderwine Distractor here, 4 mana, 4/3, Merfolk Wizard. When this creature becomes tapped, give a creature -3/-0 until end of turn, so it can soften up a lot of things. Seafloor Oracle here, anytime a Merfolk we control deals combat damage, just draw a card. So it helps us again draw through our deck. Sharain of Numbing Depths here, 4 mana, 2/3, Merfolk Wizard. When she enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Anytime we tap 1 or more untapped creatures an opponent controls, draw a card. You can only do this once a turn, but it can help us again with simple little card draw. For tapping things down if we need to, we also throw in Teferi, who slows the sunset. So Teferi here, 4 mana, Loyalty, Planeswalker, and then for +1, you can then choose up to 1 target artifact, creature, and land, and then untap those chosen permanents, and then tap the chosen permanents you don't control, and you gain 2 life. So this can help us kind of with tap and untap shenanigans that our deck really wants to get into. Tick down to then dig 3 cards deep to pick out a card, and then -7 gives us an emblem that says untap all permanents we control during each opponent's up tap, and then you draw a card for during each opponent's draw step. So this can help us again get super crazy, but again, don't expect the ultimate to go off. In some certain situations, it does help. In the 5-drop slot, we have Umara Wizard, or it can be a tap land. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, give this creature flying until end of turn. Marrow Sky Swimmer here, so this has Convoke, so it doesn't have to actually be 5 mana, but either way, Flying in Vigilance, when it enters, create a 1/1 white and blue Merfolk creature token. And then finally, our last piece here, and our Pseudo Wrath for the whole deck, Summon Leviathan. With this on the first part, you return each creature that isn't the Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, or Octopus, or Serpent to an opponent's hand, so this hopefully should bounce away an opponent's board, and that should allow us to get a free swing in. And then parts 2 and 3, until end of turn, whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus, or Serpent attacks, draw a card. So for each time we actually swing with different Merfolk, we can get a ton of cards off of this card. If nothing else, though, it's a simple Saga Leviathan that has Ward 2, and it's a 6/6. And then as far as the land base is concerned, we have 7 plains, 11 islands because we are a budget deck. We'll throw in Sheffet Dunes. We can sacrifice to give all of our team pumps. We have all the tap lands we can muster up, like Abandoned Campground here, Gates of Istenfell, Lonely Arroyo, North Pole Gates, Port Town, Razortide Bridge, Tranquil Cove, and then for bouncing things back and forth and getting more value, we have Arid Archway here. Broker's Hideout is one of our fetch lands, along with Escape Tunnel, Obscura Storefront, and Volatile Fault. We'll throw in Command Tower as, of course, a staple. And then for non-basic land hate, we have Demolition Field and Volatile Fault to round out our package. And otherwise, that is the whole game plan for you in a nutshell, everyone. Whew. Okay, thanks again, as always, for hanging in there. But now we're going to get to, of course, the fun part. So let's play this deck in the best of 1 Brawl format, and let's see how well the deck can do. All right. So hopefully you guys are jazzed about this as I am. Honestly, I wasn't too sure if I could make an Azorius Merfolk deck work, but we're going to find out here. We've only tested the deck a couple times, so hopefully it should be good here as we begin playing. All right, so let's lock in. It's time to wait, hold on. Oh, are we playing the upgraded version? Oops. Hold on. We're going to wait. I know. Okay, so opponent gets a free win on that one. We weren't going to play the upgraded one just yet. My mistake, everybody. Okay, hold on. Let me pick the right deck. So we're going to play the upgraded one a little bit later on. Don't worry. River's Revenge first. Oopsies. You didn't see that. All right, in any case, continuing on. Let's go ahead. Let's get this going. All right, so with that, trying again to load up another game. All right, here we go. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so with that, let's see. We got an island, Bayeen Vale, River Sneak. All right, so I think we'll keep this. We should be good. So with that, let's tap the Bayeen Vale first. So let's see. We're in Catacomb. So our opponent is going to be playing Doran. We actually played Doran a couple of, what is that, a week and a half ago? So check that out if you haven't already done so. But until then, we'll play River Sneak. Okay, so the way we've got the setup is actually pretty decent for now. We got everything we need. Arcane Signet, okay. Opponent's getting the ramp going. That's fine. Play the Volatile Faults. We will play Silver Gill Adept. Reveal the Marrow. That gives us a little pump. We get a card draw off of that. Nice. Ooh, another island. That's good. All right, we get the first hit in. Down to 22. Okay. Opponent's going to start putting up their big butts soon with Doran. Do they play Doran now, though? Nope, not yet. Bedrock Tortoise, which is fine. Let's see here. How do we do this? I think we'll play the Campground. And Sygg coming in. Nice. Make that unblockable. 2 unblockable hits here. Oh, wait, I forgot. That's actually... Oops. I realized that was not unblockable. That was my mistake. Okay, well, that came to bite me back in the butt. Hopefully that won't be costing me the match. Right? Okay. Gets a big pump here. Ugh. That's no good. Ouch. All right. We have a chance here to still do some stuff. We will flip here. River Sneak. Play the Sheffet Dunes. Okay. Can't be blocked, neither one. Okay. Big swing here. Down to 17. We'll play Eclipsed Marrow. I guess we could have gotten more pump off of that, but it's fine. Oh, wow. We fizzled there. Okay. Ugh. This doesn't look good already. Okay. It's fine, everyone. Bedrock Tortoise and Doran definitely have a big amount of oomph against us. I don't know if we're going to try to... Not sure if we're going to be able to survive this. We're going to try. Oh, dear. Okay, so we only have one chance to block here. That's not good. Okay, down to 2 already. Man, those big butts hit pretty hard. Okay. Resolve Signet. Okay. So I think at this point, our opponent might have already gotten their win here. Still auto pay. Pump up the river sneak. Island. We have... Yeah, okay. I mean, I could bring in the Voldarian Hexcatcher, but that's not enough. Our creatures are not strong enough to push through damage. I mean, we managed to try to close the gap just a little bit here, but it just was not enough. All right. Even if I blocked it, yeah, I'm not going to make it. All right, all right. Take the first L, but that's okay. It's just the first game, everyone. Not a big deal. We could still make a comeback. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get some wins here tonight. Don't worry. It's still early. We have plenty of time to get some wins going here. We totally can do it. Usually, Merfolk originally started as mono blue as a creature type, and then we started getting more Merfolk that went into green thanks to the first round of Ixalan. Now we also have some white Merfolk thanks to Lorwyn. Maybe someday we'll be able to put them all together in a Bant commander deck. Someday, everyone. We'll get a proper Bant Merfolk commander in the future. At least I hope it won't take too long. Until then, however, we'll play an island. We'll pass here. Okay, so opponent. Show me what you got. Temple of Triumph. All right. We're playing Cloud. So, against Cloud, we have some options. Play the Plains. We're going to wait for Sygg for a moment. If our opponent has any types of equipment, we can counter them at least once with a null. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but we'll try. Opponent cracks the wooded foothills. That means they're digging out a stomping grounds, okay? That means they definitely are going to have to cast something. Okay, Freya. Okay. Dragon Fireblight. Okay, so that gets countered now. At least one artifact's out of the way. Arcane Signet. Putting down the Chef of Dunes. I guess we'll just put this down now. Not for any real value, mind you. Okay. So from here, we have a couple options. Seafloor Oracle could at least help us keep up with card draw. Okay, Lightning Greaves. Good hit, opponents. Because you can do it for free. So they're going to do their equip. Okay. Hasten Shroud. Do they swing? They do. All right, they're getting cheeky. I'll let them have it. We just need to keep up with card draw. Maybe we have a shot here. Okay, Thraben Charm. Decline for now. Seafloor Oracle. All right. Free hit there, down to 20. We can draw a card off of that. Nice. Okay, so from here, we have a couple of options. Depending on what our opponent does here. Maybe we can start going wide. We can make Merfolk Tricksters do some things here. We'll see what we can do. Cloud still has a little bit of time before he can actually come in, but they are ramping towards him fast. So, Cloud enters. Attach up to one turn. Okay. Down to 22. We still got time. Okay, River Seek's pretty good. Decline for now, because now we actually have enough where we can start doing stuff here. So let's see. We can River Sneak. We swing here with both cards. Okay, does our opponent... Okay, they do not. No blocks. Nice. Okay. That's good. That's 2 extra cards for us. Okay. Ooh, we got a mana leak. That's beautiful. Secure storefront. All right. We're slowly building up our value here. Little by little. And pass. All right. Looks like the deck is managing to do its thing. Okay, does our opponent play Cloud now? That's 5 mana. Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay. So for this... I'm going to draw a card off of that. Okay. With Shroud. Ironically, they cannot Shroud... With Shroud... Yeah, they have to move that there. Okay, so... No, we'll wait on that. We're going to wait. Because realistically, they can't do anything with it right now. Okay, there we go. That's what we wanted. Okay, so... Too bad, opponent. Saram's gone. Oh, nice. We got the Curiosity, too. Okay, so decline. We will put Curiosity on top of River Sneak. So no matter what, we'll be able to get some card draw off of that. All right. There's going to be a lot of card draw here. All right, nice. That's what you want the deck to do. Getting our card draw. We got lots of counter spells now. Beautiful. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. We'll decline actually that. We have now more than enough card draw to handle everything we need. So from here... combat research, I think, goes on Sygg. And pass the turn. Okay. So, we're set up for success now. Okay, here comes Cloud. So that means... Denied, opponent. Too bad. Oh, opponent! Oh, you already gave up from that? Okay, I'll take that win. Opponent could not handle being countered his commander. All right. We'll take our first legit win for tonight. That's good. That's good. Dang, opponent folded so fast there. It's like they were just like, they just couldn't handle us. Okay, well, there you go, everyone. So a mix and match of mid-range, tempo, and just general Merfolk goodness. Blowing away our opponent there. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Okay, hold up. We're going to load up our next game here, folks. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. For some reason, my mic was having an issue there. Okay. I think we're good now. Cool. Nice. Okay, so from here, we got the escape tunnel. Okay. A little bit of a slow hand, but that's okay. Opponent is playing Pride of the Hulklade. Huh. Okay. We played this card before in 60 card. Spicy choice, though, opponent. Okay, Umara Wizard. Okay. Play this tap land. So opponent is playing also another Butts Commander. They hit us for 1, so we're at 24. Ooh, Arcane Signet. That's good, too. So from here, let's just go ahead. Let's get our ramp going. And we'll pass here. Okay, opponent. Bring it on. Okay. What else you got, opponent? Gleaming Barrier. Okay, that's cute. Trying to get their game plan going with the Butts. They're getting close to pulling off their shenanigans here, so let's see. Can we do this? Okay, got another Plains. That's good. So little by little. Meander's Guide. And pass here. Okay. So at least for now, we have a decent creature to attack with. If our opponent has an answer, we do have a slip out the back if we need to in a pinch. Okay, so opponent, what you got? Walking Bulwark, okay. No surprise for a Butts deck. Solid card, by the way. Opponent's probably not going to swing. I mean, I guess they could use their Walking Bulwark if they want to. It's up to them. Okay. Okay, do they turn it on? Okay, so I figured. Okay, Marauder's Guide. No attack, no damage. Okay, good for now. Mistcloak Herald, that's solid too. So from here, Escape Tunnel. Sygg, coming in. Opponents. Ooh, they have the wash away. Okay. Ugh. Terrible, but okay, that's fine. Not a big deal, everyone. Okay. Nothing opponents? Do you block? Okay, down to 21. And then from here we pass. I realize if I had Sygg in the graveyard, maybe I could have brought him back, so maybe that might have been better for us. But it's okay. It's okay. We can still make this work. I think what I'll do is bring in Brineborn Cutthroat first. Okay? Alright, opponent has now made it so that the Pride of the Hullclave is literally 1 mana. Okay, opponent. Swing in. Brineborn. Block there. Don't worry, we can bring him back. Shepherd Dunes. We will... How do we do this here? I think Mistcloak Herald. Sygg. Sacrifice. Get an island. Okay. We then tap Sygg. There we go. Brineborn's back. Obviously, he can block it, so that's not really what we care about. We're just trying to get back our Merfolk here for value. Okay. Witness protection. Opponent. Okay, Ivory Tower. Okay. Okay, so let's see. That's expensive, but it's not going to help them right now. Okay, nice. So for here, we will... Let's see, how do we do this? Okay, Wanderbrine Preacher. We will find a way to get Sygg around, so that should be fine. We can get him back. Okay. Tap. Tap. Wait, no. Hold on. Tap. Tap. Blue. And there we go. Trying to get this in. So we can invoke, gain some life, make another Merfolk. Okay. Deck is coming together here. And then our last one, Merfolk Looter. So now we can start slowly getting value here. Very slowly we're getting our value. Okay, down to 20. Okay. Opponent still doesn't have enough to have Pride of the Hullclave do its thing. But it looks like they're going to make food. Interesting. And gain some life off of it. All right. Interesting choice, opponent, but okay. Are we there? Are we back? Ugh. Okay. It looks like we're back, sort of. At least I hope we are. We had a quick disconnect, but I think we're okay for now, everyone. Just got to hang in there a little bit longer. Okay. So from here... down to 24. Okay. Merfolk Looter again. Okay. Still not getting what we need, though. Alright. Well. Our opponent played the Cherix. Can we get around the Cherix thing? Down to 20. So it is a slow grind to get around this. But we're going to try to do our best, everyone. We're not giving up. Not giving up. Okay, opponents. Show me what you got. Okay, Cherix. Does he turn himself on? Most likely here, of course. Opponents. So doing only 1 point of damage, but that is a lot of card draw. So our opponent is now back in this fight. Okay. Come on, deck. We need a little bit of love here. Show me some love. Come on. Okay. I know we can get around this. We're going to try, everyone. Not going to give up. Not going to give up. Okay. Armored Scrap Gorger. Okay. And the Assault Formation. I don't know. That looks like that might be a bit of a tricky one here. We're going to be crashing and burning pretty quick here if we do not find an answer out of this. So, can we find an answer out of this? Is there a way out? Who knows? We're going to see if we can try to get this going. Opponent has all the cards in the world here. Despite how this all works. If we can just get rid of Tetsuko here, that actually would help us out a little bit here. But right now, we're going to be struggling for a little bit here. If we can get at least maybe spot removal, just something, bouncing anything, we can get out of this. I know we can, though. Okay, Counterspell does not do it. All right, so hello? Are we still there? Everyone? Are we still there? Are we okay? Oh dear. Looks like we've been having some more disconnecting issues, everyone. Hopefully y'all are still there. So with this, we're going to try to counterspell. Okay. Phew. Okay, good. I mean, they could eat that if they want to. But we're going to see if we can try to make our way through this. We're still not giving up just yet. Cherix does get turned on. Wait, is that it? Did we lose? Oh, I think we lost. Okay, so from here, block there, block. No, wait, we can't. Okay, okay. He can be blocked, but not these two. Toots. Okay, they get a bigger pump, so that means 22. Did we lose? Assault formation. Okay. Let's see here. Decline. We'll decline. Bandit campground. Okay. Our final shot here. Okay. Fleeting flight. Okay. Final swing. Because we're probably going to lose here. Gain some life. We then tap. Bring back this guy. We can give that a 5/4. Okay, so opponent can block here a little bit, but not much. We can at least push through whatever damage we can. We're going to try here. That doesn't look like... I probably didn't do the math correctly. Down to 11. So, draw 2 cards. Anything. Okay, the Deeper Pilgrimage is way too late here. Clara class, also way too late. We will concede here. Dang. Unbelievable. Okay. Not looking too hot tonight, everyone, but that's okay. We're not giving up just yet. We can still get some wins here. I know we can. Okay, so with that... Okay, just shaking it off. We're going to try again. Shaking it off, try again. Okay, no big deal. Sometimes, again, you do have nights like that where you just aren't going to get the best of results. But that's okay. Sometimes it's part of the process. Sometimes you go super hot, sometimes you do decent, and sometimes you end up just pooping out a little bit. But it's not a huge deal. I'm not giving up, and I don't want anybody else to give up either. So, with that, despite how things may have looked, we're still going to try again here. Okay, so, all right, we'll log in here. Okay, this looks good. We'll keep this. So, opponent is playing Aura, the Imitator, so it's going to be a Alchemy card. Boo. Okay. Alchemy shenanigans aside. Mist Cloak Herald. Arcane Signet. Okay, that's cute. Flitterwing Nuisance. Okay, Water Brine Tapper. So, Lonely Arroyo. Ping our opponent for 1. Play the Curiosity. Okay, at least we can get some card draw going here. Down to 23. We'll draw another card off of that. Nice. Okay, good. We got a Plains. So, from here... Once we get Sygg in, we can start dishing out some extra card damage, which will be good. Okay, here comes Ura. So Ura, long as not top card of fairies. Okay. Interesting. Well, this doesn't seem broken, but it's interesting. Port down, we reveal our planes. We will play... What do we play here? I think we'll play the Patchwork Banner for now. And play it on Merfolk, of course. Okay. Waterbind Trapper. Swing here, get some more damage in, down to 21. Draw into the card. At least we're getting our card draw going. That's what we want to do the most. So if nothing else, we're getting what the deck is trying to do, which is just draw cards, hopefully draw into what we need. Okay, until we don't. Okay, down to 21. Okay, Dawn Blessed Penance. Not too bad. Okay, Sygg coming in. Okay. Trapper now gets a little bit of value there. We will... What do we do? I think we'll do it this way. Get Ura out of the way. They'll obviously bounce it back. Okay, but at least now we can put more pressure on them. So draw another card, down to 20. All right, so we're staying in pace here. We're keeping up with our opponent here. Chromatic Lantern, all right? Talion. So what number? They named 3. Okay. We will transform. Trapper. Let's see here. Okay. Creature coming in. Dawn Blessed. Let's see. Banner. All right, cool. Down to 17. So little by little, we're just trying to do what we can here to stay pace with our opponent here as much as we can. Okay, Flitterwing Nuisance. Okay, it's a slobber knocker to everyone. It's a game of attrition. Damage versus damage here. Some way, somehow, one of us is going to have to break. Ooh, Bitter Blossom. Okay. Well, we flip Sygg back. And then we will hit the Trapper again. From here, we'll do it this way. We are going to take a hit here, but that's a small price to pay. Creatures we control gain lifelink. Let's see, what do we want? I think make a copy. Okay. Yes, we take a hit there. That's okay. Oh, they have the spell stutter. Okay. Looks like we're having still connections. God, this is just going to kill my momentum here. Okay. So in the meantime, I guess we just swing here. Gain some more life. Back up to 12. Opponent does block. They can't block the Trapper. Down to 1. Okay. Well, I realized we probably could have won that turn. Oh, well, never mind. Our opponent still gave up anyway. I'll take that. Yay! Whew, I honestly thought we were going to actually lose that one, but okay, I'll take it. A win is a win. Hooray! Okay, nice. So, with what little time we have left, because now I'm starting to worry we're not going to be able to survive the remaining time that I usually like to do for these, let's actually just talk about directly now the upgraded version of the deck. So, what if we upgraded and took this deck to the next level? And that's what we're going to try to do here, everyone. So, with the time that we have left here, we're going to try to see if we can make this all work. So, with that, we're going to try to see if we can pull off here a stronger upgrade to make the deck much more better than it currently is. So, for here, all we're just going to simply do is upgrade this by focusing on just getting a lot more stronger oomph to deck. Much more stronger card draw, much more stronger options here to help us rebuild into what we want. So, in order to do that, though, let's do it this way. So, with this, what we're going to be looking at trying to do is, with Sygg here, let's try to start upgrading some of our smaller pieces here. We're going to also throw in a little bit of pieces that I haven't considered, but probably would help us out a lot with some of the value that our deck can do. So, in other words here, we're looking at, for example, Requisition Raid to help us out here. Wait, no, I already mentioned Requisition Raid. We're going to throw in, Sentinel's Eyes. So, Sentinel's Eyes gives us a +1/+1 pump and Vigilance. We can escape the card by just exiling 2 cards. In terms of upgrading the deck overall by giving us real upgrades here, so we're going to be looking at ways to make sure we can just keep pressuring our opponent here. So we're going to throw in Shadow Spear, so this gives us lifelink and trample. Other upgrades to the deck, we're going to throw in some stronger spot removal, so Fateful Absence and Get Lost will now be in the deck. Other upgrades that are going to help us take this deck to the next level. Let's see. I'm trying to see, like, what else did we add in here? We're going to throw in Spreading Seas, so there's a specific reason why we're going to get this card, but don't worry, we'll talk about this in just a moment. Spreading Seas mostly is just to help us, again, just draw some cards, but also it turns an enchanted land into an island. That might not seem like a huge deal right now, but this comes in key with another card we're going to talk about in the deck. We're going to throw in, of course, Hardbringer of the Tides here. We can cast the spell so it has Flash by paying an extra 2. By doing so, we can bounce back a tapped creature to an opponent's hand, so it's good for tempo play. We're going to throw in here Master of the Pearl Trident, so a classic Merfolk for us, but this Merfolk gives all of us +1/+1 and Island Walk. For those that are too young to remember, Island Walk was an old school mechanic, so the walk ability means that you can walk over an opponent, making your creatures unblockable as long as they had a specific land that corresponded with whatever the walk ability was. So in this case, for example, it's Island Walk. If our opponent has an island, with Island Walk, all of our creatures are unblockable because this will give all of our Merfolk the walk ability. That's the reason why we want Spreading Seas. This goes perfectly with Master of the Pearl Trident. Hold on one second. Oh, that was a little painful. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Otherwise, okay, continuing on. So that's going to be one of our major upgrades for the deck. Otherwise, for the 3-drop slot for upgrades here, we're going to get a lot more beefier options that are going to help us really kind of pump up the deck. So we're talking about utilizing here Teferi's Protection. I know. Some of you probably don't want to see this, but again, it gives the deck much needed oomph for us. Other upgrades for the deck that are going to help us out here, we're going to throw in Glasspool Mimic. It's going to need to be a tap land for us, or at the very least, it's the Shapeshifter Rogue. So that's going to help us, again, pump up our ability here. We're going to throw in Kiora, the Rising Tide. She enters, you draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Once Threshold triggers, then you can make a Scion of the Deep, which is an 8/8 Octopus to help us give a little bit more power out of our deck. Other upgrades to the deck, we're going to throw in Near Div, Devious Diver here. So this doesn't look like it fits the deck, but hear me out for a second here. Once we start getting a little extra pump here and there, this actually becomes a pretty sweet card once we start tapping things down. Once she becomes tapped, you then mill a player equal to its power. So at base, mill 2 cards. Once we start pumping it up with some abilities, this can start milling quite a few cards every turn. Whenever we cast a spell from our graveyard or activate an ability of a card in the graveyard, we draw a card and then put a +1/+1 counter on Near Div. So this little, I guess you could say, Merfolk waifu kind of helps us, again, just start milling our opponent down. I know you're probably going to hate me for this. Don't hate me too much, but I'm going to throw it in. Rhystic Study, because this deck definitely needs a lot more oomph for us. So we're going to throw in this to help us out. We're also going to throw in some other shenanigans here, like Tishana's Tidebinder. This counters one target activated ability or triggered ability. So this can turn off, for example, activations of Planeswalker abilities, fetch lands, or other things that are going to help us out with whatnot. By doing so, then the permanent will lose all abilities as long as this card remains on the battlefield. We'll throw in also Kapala, Warden of Waves. This gives all of our spells an opponent casts to target a Merfolk, cost 2 more to cast, and then abilities your opponent activates that targets a Merfolk, cost also 2 more to activate. So kind of think of this as kind of like proto ward, I guess, if you will, if you really want to think of it that way. Lorwyn of Sea and Sky is also another upgrade for us. So this is a Merfolk God. Lorwyn has indestructible as long as you control at least 2 or more Merfolk. So this can be a free swing for us. Anytime this attacks, just draw a card. Gives all of our Merfolk Ward 1. So this can be a great way to kind of give us another layer of protection for the deck itself. We'll throw in Mithril Code here as well. So this gives one of our legendary creatures at flash speed indestructible. And then we can equip it for 3 if you need to at any point. For more shenanigans here, and I know, again, you're going to hate me still, but again, Smothering Tide also helps out the deck a lot by giving us ramp, that what we need for our deck. But those are mostly going to be the major upgrades for us. The only other upgrade that I'm also going to throw in will be, of course, the lands. So we're going to throw in Abandoned Air Temple for more pumping. We have Gonjo, of course, Minas' Truth to help us draw some cards with some legendary creatures on the field now that we have a lot more. Agna Quell, i.e. the North Pole here, is going to help us just draw some more cards. Otawara Soaring City to bounce things we need to, and all of the good rare lands we can muster up, rare duels I should say. Akadar Wastes, Deserted Bridge, Flood Farm Verge, Hallowed Fountain, Pathway Land.